Hello there. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome. It's been a long time. Been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to, step to, step to. But seriously, I have got to say, well, first let me before I tell y'all what I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me say I'm so sorry, you guys. I was overwhelmed with homework, with mom life, with everything. And I kept getting pushed back every day when I said, okay, I'm about to upload this, I'm about to edit this. And I never got the video out last week. As a matter of fact, that's a whole nother video. It's a whole other video that I'll probably put it out next week if the Lord doesn't lay something else in my heart to record. But I'll probably put it out for next week. So if you hear me saying something like, I'm late with this, or I'm behind on this, and then that's because that was recorded during the week that I was behind. So you guys, I apologize. I'm like, I hate that because I want to be consistent. I don't want to be flip-floppy. So for all of you who were looking for that video, I apologize for that. But I am back. I am back. I had to just take a moment and say, okay, we're going to get back on schedule. As a matter of fact, I think that's what that video was about, was getting back on track. So that'll be coming out next week because the Lord has laid something else on my heart today. Anyway, I had to make that disclaimer first, but I have to say, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Walk Live. Listen, for all you who've been rocking with me since day one, you know I love you, and that is your heart, huh? And for all of you who are new, thank you for stopping by. I hope you like what you see and what you hear. My name is Sakima. I post on this channel every Tuesday, usually. And what do I post on this channel? I post different nuggets, different lessons that God has given me along my journey. And they've helped me chip away at some of the barriers that have been in my path. And my hope is that by sharing, they will help you as well, okay? Yes. I also will be vlogging from time to time. You might see me doing interviews. You might see me doing all kinds of things. I'm always trying to improve and find different things to do, new things to do. A week comes so quickly, so it's not much time in between to try to get things together, but I'm always trying to find something that I can do that's going to be, something new and interesting. Anyway, when you come to this channel, you might see a number of things. I like to say that when you come to this channel, you'll find inspiration, you'll find laughter, and you'll find life. So if that's what you came for, I'm going to give you what you came for. Now, what I like to do is give my people a moment. If you have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button, please do that now, because what do they say? It's lit over here. It's lit over here. I feel so crazy saying it. No, that's not me. I'm old in the head, so it's just, it doesn't fit. It doesn't go. Just be you. Be you, huh? Yes, if you haven't had a moment to subscribe, I would like to give you that moment. You guys, please hit that subscribe button. That helps me to get this message out. And please remember to share. If you hear something that you resonated with, just share it. Share it and send it to your people so they can be blessed too. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss an upload, okay? You don't want to miss an upload. You don't want to miss an upload. I believe where I was giving you all a moment to subscribe if you wanted to do so. So I'm just going to be doing other things because I have a lot of things to do. And just going to go ahead and give you an opportunity to do that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll be working, okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see what you did. You hit that subscribe button. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the family. right, y'all. I know y'all probably gonna be distracted the whole time. So this back here is from my son's birthday. His birthday was 2 days ago, and I just haven't taken it down yet because that's just what I do. No, sometimes I like to leave it up, so you can still be in that birthday mode and celebrate or whatever. We are gonna actually do the second part of his birthday this weekend, so it kind of still is, birthday mode. Anyway, that's what that's from. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was how important it is to have testing. You ever go to stores? You might go to a department store, anywhere that has perfume or makeup or anything that can be tested. They have a tester on the front where you can pick it up, feel it, touch it, rub it, see, okay, all right, I see how that does. Because there's something about looking at a thing and deciding in your mind, that's nice, but then getting it on yourself and being like, that does not do anything for me. And oftentimes we are in that mindset. I know just from A, B, and C that this works for me. I know because of A, B, and C where I stand with this, or how I feel about this, or what I would do in this situation, or what this, and this. Or I know I'm probably pretty good. I know that, I'm retaining all the stuff I need to retain in this class. I think I'm straight. But then we have things that come along that test what we've said, test our knowledge, what we say we know, what we say we understand, and we often find out that we don't know ourselves as much as we think we know ourselves. And that's why it's so important to endure that testing that God sends us, because it is revealing. Anything that God does with us is never for Him. It is for us. It reveals something in us, about us, or about Him. So it is important that we endure this testing, that I'm not going to say look forward to the testing, because I know how difficult that is. Don't nobody ask for it. Lord, just, hey, send me on down through the way and let me struggle, Lord. I've seen where people say, search me, Lord, search my heart, and all those things. And I'm like, okay, that is absolutely, that's beautiful. We want the Lord to search our heart, to find out what is in it. Is there anything that's not like you? If it is, remove it. If it is, help me in that area. But to intentionally ask Him to test us or try us. Oh, I've never seen that. That's tough. That's tough for us. We know that we're in for something that is going to stretch us, that's going to pull us. And so it's tough, but we need it. I was thinking the other day, about how I handled a certain situation. And I realized in that moment that, Lord, the faith that I said I had in you, the closeness that I felt that we had, I may need to reevaluate. Because when it came time to show and prove, what came out of me in my response and in my reaction to that situation was something that would cause me to say, I you know what? Maybe I don't have as much faith as I thought I did. Maybe I don't believe like I said I did. Even with things like, I might be watching something where, I love to go on to YouTube and look at the miraculous things that happen and different amazing things and unexplainable things that happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is mind blowing. Oh my gosh. But even sometimes when I'm watching those things, I am trying to find any other explanation for what I saw. And I find myself surprised at myself because I'm like, why is it so difficult for me to believe that the God I serve, the one that I talk about constantly, the one that I encourage other people to surrender to, why is it so hard for me to believe that he is working in this situation, that he is the one turning the situation around, he is the one doing something in this situation that is just unbelievable? That got me to thinking, I need to be careful not to simply go with what I think or what I feel and not endure the testing, and not pick up the tester and say, well, let's see. Because I need it to be real. I need to be sure. And I believe that God is so gracious that he does allow us to endure these things so that we can be more sure. We're looking at it the whole time like, oh my gosh, this is a horrible situation. But what we don't realize in those happy moments is that our faith is really not that strong. Yeah, we like the idea of God and the idea of how amazing he is, how he can do everything, how he is all powerful and almighty, and we love all these words and we've got them down to a T. But what we don't actually realize while we're doing all that is that if we were in a situation where we had to endure that testing, it would be a different story. We'd be singing a different tune. It's important to pay attention to yourself while you're in the testing. How are you acting? When you see something and someone saying something amazing happened to them and they're like, I know God did this, and you, with your saved, sanctified self, are the one like, I mean, that could have been just somebody just happened to walk by and see you like that. I mean, yes, God, hallelujah. You find yourself being the skeptical one when you of all people should be the one saying, absolutely, that sure was. God is amazing. Like, we sometimes have a little trouble wrapping our minds around it. And let me just say, I know that we have our flesh, and our flesh is working against the spirit. So sometimes it is tough for us to comprehend in our flesh what is spiritual. So I want to be clear about that. There will be some sort of sense of like hesitancy or resistance when it comes to trying to accept those spiritual things. But what I want us to do is be aware of that, and be aware of when there just might be a heart problem. There just might be an underlying issue that is keeping us, other than our flesh, that is keeping us from being able to really be in that faith walk with God. Don't look at you following God and saying, I'm a Christian and I do this, or any of the things that you do to participate in your Christianity, as a solid indicator that everything's okay in here, that there isn't a need to endure testing, that there isn't a need to evaluate or to ask God, hey, search me, Lord. Matthew 15:8 says, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In that verse, he was referring to the Pharisees and all these religious leaders who were religious leaders, yet they were the ones who were doing the opposite of what he was even about. They were the ones that were constantly questioning him. They were the ones that were constantly testing him because they didn't believe. Yet they were following him around. So just because you follow a thing doesn't mean that you are all in. Here we have in Matthew 15 verse 1, Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. That was 1 and 2. Matthew 15, 1 and 2. Then you skip over here all the way to chapter 16. Says the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So y'all still follow me around, but your hearts are far from me. How is this possible? How is this possible that everywhere Jesus is going, you guys are showing up? But y'all don't believe me. Y'all seeing me do the miracles. You are seeing me do all these things. Yet you don't believe me. You're constantly trying to test me. You are uttering things in your heart and in your mind, under your breath, saying things about me. We see again, Luke 5, 17 through 21. And it came to pass on a certain day, as he was teaching, that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which were come out of every town of Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was present to heal them. And behold, men brought in a bed, and a man which was taken with a palsy. And they sought means to bring him in, and to lay him before him. And when they could not find by what way they might bring him in, because of the multitude, they went upon the housetop, and let him down through the tiling with his couch into the midst before Jesus. And when he saw their faith, he said unto him, Man, thy sins are forgiven thee. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, Who is this which speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? But when Jesus perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, What reason ye in your hearts? Whether is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven, or to say, Rise up and walk? But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power upon earth to forgive sins. He said unto the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, Arise and take up thy couch, and go into thine house. And immediately he rose up before them, and took up that whereon he lay, and departed to his own house, glorifying God. The Pharisees and Sadducees and other religious leaders were there, and they were questioning. They were murmuring under their breath. They were saying all types of things and constantly questioning Jesus. Yet they were following him. It said that they came from all over to listen to him. This wasn't day 1. This wasn't day 2. They came from all over to visit him, and they would listen to him multiple times in different settings and see different healings, and still would not believe. So I don't want you to get caught up in thinking because you could have been in that crowd that day, and you see everybody in amazement, and you looking at it, you seeing the same thing, and you feel like because you were part of that and you walked away and it's like, okay, yeah, that was great, I believe. No, it doesn't automatically mean because you go to church, you get to witness these different things, you read your Bible and do all of this, that there isn't something that is worth searching in you. That there isn't something that still needs the testing. We should never get to the point where we don't want to endure the testing, or where we don't see the value in enduring the testing. Testing is necessary. As I told you, we see it in all other different settings, like the department store. Anything that can be tested, we want to feel it. We want to see it with our hands. We want to grasp it, because it's not enough for us to do these other things, these superficial things, like look at it and all these other things, maybe even see it on someone else. It's not enough. We have to be able to experience it for ourselves. We have to be able to really search it out for ourselves. So that's another thing I will say. If you're not already doing this on your own, reading your word and doing what I'm not telling you, by no means am I telling you don't do these things. These things are necessary for your relationship. There's no way that God is going to be able to to bring to your remembrance in a time of trouble something that you've read to encourage you if you haven't read it. So by all means, yes, please, please, please do these things. Please read your word. Please go to church. Please put yourself in settings that will feed your spirit. I'm not saying to not do that. I'm saying don't do these things and feel like you are good to go and never posture yourself to endure testing or go through difficult situations and you're not paying attention to yourself to see what it is that may need some work, to see where your faith is. For me, I realized that although I was doing all of these things, there still was more doubt than that which comes from just having flesh. There still was more doubt that came from some other place, something that I wasn't aware of. But if it comes time to show and prove in your life, if you go through a difficult situation and you find it hard to implement those things that you've learned in one of the situations, all of my actions or all of my reactions to that certain situation were all based upon fleshly things. I was thinking that, okay, there is not even any hope in this situation. Ain't no need to even go any further with, trying to think about there being hope, because I know there's not. This is just what it is. This is how it's going to be, and what? I'm sorry. Are you not a child of God? Where is your faith? Aren't you the one that talks about me all the time? Aren't you the one that encourages other people? Like, what's going on here? So that was something, that particular issue I was experiencing was the very thing that helped me to realize where my faith was, and that I needed more intimate time with God, and that I needed to do something different in my schedule to try to create more closeness, more intimacy, true faith, that I needed to start looking at these things that God allows in my life to happen that are unfavorable as opportunities to exercise my faith, opportunities to look more upon my faith and lean more on God rather than my flesh. All of these things that help me to do things differently than I was. These are opportunities. These hardships are opportunity. God is trying to get us to a certain place. And as long as we are just living our life like it's golden, oftentimes we won't even stop to evaluate. We won't even stop to evaluate. We will feel like everything's fine. And all the while, we'll be suffering spiritually. So I just want us to have the proper perspective. That's all on this testing. Testing is so necessary for us. It lets us know where we are, where we stand. Pay attention to yourself in these moments of hardship. See these moments of hardship as an opportunity to exercise your faith. The only way that you're going to be able to start walking more in your faith is if you exercise it, if you have to utilize it. So don't be upset if you can't see the path forward in totality, and you are forced to believe that God will make a way. That is you being put in a position where your faith can be exercised, so that the next time and the next time and the next time that it will have to happen or have to be used, it won't be such a hard and tedious thing to use that faith. I hope that helped somebody. I came to that realization when I was dealing with the situation, and I'm like, girl, what you doing? And I just thought maybe there's some more of you out there who are experiencing that same thing, who secretly struggle with your faith walk, who secretly struggle with trusting God. The wonderful thing is God loves us. It's not a thing where it's like, oh, you don't trust. Well, it's too bad. Let me know when you get that together. God has committed to us, being with us lifelong. He's asked us to cast our cares upon him. That means that he is 100% invested in the things that we struggle with, invested in the things that we care about. And he is going to work in those things. If we allow him, if we hand them over to him, he is going to work in those things to help us. In Mark 9:20 through 24, we see someone asking the Lord to help them with their unbelief. It says, and they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. And he asked his father, how long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, of a child. So this is Jesus asking this young boy's father, how long has he had this spirit, basically? And he said he's had it since he was a child. He said, and oftentimes it hath cast him into the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Jesus said unto him, if thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. Lord, I believe you, but I recognize that I have a little something in there that may be doubting a little bit. My God, help my unbelief. That is the posture that we should have. Because all of us with our flesh, it wants to wrestle against that spirit. But what we can say is, Lord, help my unbelief. Help my unbelief. And the Lord will do it. He absolutely will do it. When Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him, and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried and rent him sore and came out of him. And he was as one dead, insomuch that many said, he is dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he was come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could not we cast him out? And he said unto them, this kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting. So we have on one hand, the man was saying, please help my unbelief. And then we have on the other hand, the disciples like, oh, so clearly, there was some more work we needed to do to be able to get this one out. You allowed us to experience this thing to let us see that this is going to take a little more. We need a little something else. And God allows us to go through things to let us see exactly where we are, to let us see exactly how we can handle certain situations. But anyway, listen, I hope that helps somebody. I love you so much. You know what I always say, my journey with God has been just that, a journey. And it's one that I know I was called to share with you. And so I want to thank you for joining me week in and week out on the wall. Live.